My Dreaming Soap. Welcome to my channel. Now today I'm doing it's not really a proper Halloween soap as such, just because this year I'm taking the decision that soap sales are still not where they used to be, and in the UK we don't sell a huge amount of, Halloween's not that big for us. So I've done one loaf of, a really themed Halloween soap, and I've done another sort of fall soap. So this is going to be sort of Halloween colours and a slight nod to Halloween, but it's really made for those people that may want to buy a soap that's sort of okay for this time of year, but it doesn't shout Halloween to them. So when the bar lasts a bit longer, that sort of thing, it doesn't look weird in your bathroom when Halloween has been and gone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my soap mixed up. Now, first of all, this is going to be a layered soap, a scraped layered soap with some little pumpkins and that on the top. So what I've got here is my melted oils, my lye and sodium lactate. This first layer is going to be neon purple. I predisperse all my neon colours, so I'm just going to add in the colourant that I need. I predisperse mine just because typically neons can be quite tricky to get mixed in. Okay, and that way I don't have to worry about dealing with any speckles or anything. Now the fragrance I'm going to be using in this soap is Bite Me, and I get my Bite Me from Nature's Garden. So let's just get that measured out. I do like a neon purple. My neon comes from Mica Mama. I think neons, I don't know, I've never had them from any other supplier other than Mica Mama. But as far as I've heard other people say, neons seem to be the same sort of wherever you get them from. I think as long as you're getting them from a reputable supplier. Okay, so let's get that lye and sodium lactate in. And I like the neon purple as my favourite purple, just because it's a nice purple. It's not, I don't think it's day glow, like you get a neon orange or a neon yellow, and they're really day glow, aren't they? They are literally neon. I don't think this is, to me, it doesn't say neon as much. It just says a really lovely purple. Now I've blended that quite a bit because it's just a layer that I want to set up reasonably quickly so I can scrape it. Okay, so let's get our fragrance in. Okay, I might actually give that fragrance a blend again, just because it's a layer that I'm pretty happy to set up quite quickly. Okay, I think that will do. Okay, so this just get this lovely purple layer into the mould. Now I do want this on a slight angle, so I'm just going to tip mine up a bit by a stack of card here. I've been making bath bombs, so I'll just put them on there. That'll do. That'll be fine. Now I'm going to give that a little bang. I'm just going to take it off, just because I noticed as I poured it in, I was being a bit careless and I got some bubbles. So I'm going to just do that to try and get rid of those bubbles. And now while it's still fluid, I can just tip it up on its side. And that still gives me plenty of time. So I'm just going to leave that to set up, and then we'll come back when we're ready to scrape that. Right, so that's just literally been a couple of minutes, and I think we're probably ready now, because if I touch it with my spatula, it holds its shape nicely, so that's fine. So I've just made myself a little scraper that I'm going to be using, and the idea is it's so that each layer looks like it's got sort of drips coming out of it. Okay, so I'm happy with that first layer that we've got there. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, but the little bit that I've scraped off there, as you can see, it's not very much. I'm hoping to save that for some piping. Why I say it may not work is because by the time I've done the other layers, that may have got too stiff. But ideally, that would be cool if I if I could pipe it on the top. And then the other thing I'm going to do, the sides always get a little bit dirty. I'm just going to spend a bit of time cleaning those off, and then we'll get on with our next layer. Let's get on with our next layer. So on to black layer next. So I've got my activated charcoal. Now, with my activated charcoal, I know a lot of people don't do this, but I always pre-disperse mine, and I don't mention it that often. The reason I pre-disperse is because I found that when you put activated charcoal, although it's really easy to mix into your soap, it's probably even easier than mica, it seems to add lots of tiny weeny little bubbles. So if you ever looked at your soap, especially if you've used activated charcoal and you see bubbles in it, it's very difficult to get them out of the activated charcoal. So I always get rid of those bubbles by pre-dispersing it in oil first, and then using it pre-dispersed, just like I do with my TD. So I'm just going to add what I need into my soap now. And then, as we did before, let's just get this mixed up. Okay, so that's nicely blended in. Let's get that fragrance in. Okay, and let's get that poured into the mould. Okay, this Bite Me from Nature's Garden, lovely fragrance, keeps a lovely strong scent, even at the 3% that we use it in the UK. It does accelerate a little bit. I certainly wouldn't use it if I wanted to do really slow, you know, swirls that took a long time to pour. But for simple swirls, hanger swirls, drop swirls, all of that sort of stuff, and this sort of thing, it's great. If you think that I blended this, and I've actually blended this into the soap as well, so you can see it's come to a lovely trace. It's not doing anything horrible and mad, so that's really good. Okay, so it's still quite fluid, which will be great for getting into all those little gaps that I've got. Again, I'm going to tilt it, tilting it the opposite way this time. Okay, so there we are, and as we did last time, it'll only take a couple of minutes with this. I will just leave this to set up, and then we'll start scraping again. So we've literally been a couple of minutes with that, and that's set up. It's not thick as in really solid, but certainly set up enough to start scraping. And what I'll typically do is I'll go through and do a rough scrape first of all, just in case the soap isn't sort of in the right places all over. And then we can start actually going through and getting the shape that we really want. Okay, this soap is probably still a little bit fluid. Now, as you can see, that soap there's not very set, but that'll be fine. It's scraped nicely, and as long as I don't go and bang the mould around, that is going to stay where I want it. So again, I can just go through and just clean off the side of this mould, and then get that next layer set up ready to pour. Let's do our last layer now. Sorry about the plane if you can hear it above. I want my top layer to be a nice sort of limey green colour. Now in this assessment that I have, although I own a lime green mica, I don't have it in this assessment, but I do have this Emerald Lagoon from Pure Rock Colours and Sunshine Yellow from Mica Mama. So I can take this green and add some yellow to it and make it a little bit more limey. So I'm sort of going to do, basically going to do a 2-to-1 ratio. So 2 parts of the Emerald Lagoon. And then 1 part of my Sunshine Yellow. And that's just into my oils at the moment. So let's just give that a blend and see how that's looking. Good. So I can now get that blended in and turn it into soap. Just going to give it a wipe down the sides here just to make sure I've got all those colorants in. Okay, so let's get my lye and my sodium lactate in. So let's just get that fragrance in. Okay, let's just get this finished off. Okay, so there's that done. Now I'm just going to move that gently. Actually, no, I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave that to set up a little bit, and then we're going to start working on the top. Piping wise, that spare bit of black I've got I think will be okay. The purple, maybe pushing my luck, that's really thick now, but I'll try. I don't want to pipe anything elaborate. What I'm going to do is, I've got some pumpkins that I made for another soap. I'm going to put the pumpkins on the top, and then I'm just going to do some piping with these just to tie that in with the inside of the soap. Okay, so when that's ready to pipe on, I will come back and do that. Let's start getting these tops done. Now, I've got these little pumpkins. Now, I've made these little pumpkins. If I've already put the other video up, I made them in there, and this is just the leftovers. If not, then obviously, when you see the other video come up, my other Halloween soap, then you'll see the making of those in there. So I'm just going to add my little pumpkins on. And these are made with the I Dream in Soap pumpkin mould. I specifically developed the mould so you get a whole selection of lots of different pumpkins, and they're a perfect size to use as embeds on the top of your soap. Okay, I think that'll do for now. Quite enough for 3 pumpkins on each, but I think I might be a bit over the top, but we'll see if I can squidge them on. So right, I'm worried about this purple. I may not get that piped. I would like to. Right, let's just run through what I've got. I've got a leaf tip, a Wilton 352, and at the moment I've just got a little circle tip, a Wilton number 3. I'm going to start with the black with that, just to pipe some sort of, you know, tendrils, some little vines, stalks, those sort of things. Yeah, I probably would like to start with the purple first, but I haven't risked doing the purple for the stalks because I think it'll just be too thick to try and get through that small hole. Okay, so let's see if I can get any of this on. Yay, that's piping beautifully actually, that one. Okay, so that black is really good. Let's see if I can get any of this purple piped. It might be alright, let's hope. I've piped with thicker before. Okay, now remember, this is the leaf tip, this one that sort of looks like a bird's beak, and you have to pipe it with the beak upright, so it's sort of sticking up in the air. So not like that, like that way. Okay, it's pretty good consistency as well. I've not got very much of the purple, so I want to use it quite sparingly, so each bar does get just a little touch of it. So now what I'm going to do is going to change this tip over and just grab another leaf tip. This one's slightly different. This is a Wilton 67. Still a leaf tip, but just a slightly different pattern. Okay, I think I'll leave that for the black, because I do still want to have these little sort of stalky bits still showing. So let's just dob on a few more purple leaves and that will finish us off. Okay, so all I'm doing with this leaf tip is I showed you the way to hold it. I'm just putting it into the soap, squeezing, and then sort of pushing forward and back just a little bit, and then releasing. Now, as you've seen with my piping, I just used the same recipe for my piping as I did for my soap. As you saw, this was just the scrapings off the soap, and I always find it works really well. And part of that is because in the UK we can't just change our recipe. We have to just use what's in our recipe, and that's it. We can't just do all different things. There we are, so there's our sort of slightly weirdly coloured Halloweeny pumpkin patch. Right, I'm going to put that away overnight and let that do its thing, and then we'll cut it tomorrow. Here we are with our little pumpkin soap. It's actually a couple of days later, and I really like how that top came out. I do like the black and the purple with the orange pumpkins, which is a little bit unusual, I guess, but I kind of like the way that that's come out. So let's get this cut, shall we? Okay, so remember, it was fairly simple inside, where we had those sort of slanted layers with sort of the drip scraper coming through. So let's have a look what we've got. Oh yeah. Oh, I really like that, and I think that's come out really nice. It's sort of a hint to Halloween with those sort of darker purple, green and black colours with the little pumpkins on the top. I'm really pleased with that. I think that's a nice soap that's not too themed, but just a slight nod to this sort of Halloween time of year.
I hope you've enjoyed this video and you like the soap. If you'd like to buy a bar of this soap, this and obviously lots of other soaps are available for sale in the I Dreamin' soap shop. There's a link in the description below. If you have enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you gave me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see what I'm making in the future, why not subscribe to my channel? Thanks for watching everyone. Happy soaping!